Now is the time to assemble the Bluebird box. I am in my assembly tab and I'm going to go to this insert button and take a look at the parts that I have created. So let's start with the side. There it is on screen. I will place it and I'll hit the green check mark. So that places my first part and it's free to right now move anywhere on screen. The first part you bring in, it's essential, and it's now called part 1 in our assembly. It is free to move, and I want to take that freedom away by right-clicking and fixing it in place. It's essential that we do that. So now this is our grounded part, and it cannot move throughout the screen. The next piece I want to bring in is probably the floor. I'll bring in the floor, place it on the screen with a left click, hit the green check mark. So this should be able to move all around the screen, and this is stationary. So how do we get this to fasten to here? There's a couple different ways. Let me first talk about the planar mate constraint. If I use that constraint, and then I have two multiple selections, for instance, this flat work plane, and it has a mate connector there, with this flat work plane, what happens is, there it is. And if I hit the green check mark, because I'm happy with that, let's see what happens. So it still should be able to move around the screen. But if I look at the front view, I can't push it that way. It appears as though those two flat planes are now fixed together, which they truly are. But now if I go back to my three-dimensional view, it can still move out away from the object. So I want to use that planar mate constraint again, and I want to fasten this surface, needs to load here, and turn this around to this surface. So they're both loaded. I hit the green check mark. I'm happy with that. And now what happens is there's 2 degrees of freedom that have been taken away. There's still 1 degree of freedom left. And it moves up and down. And in this case, if I scroll this way, you can see just how this is fastened. In this case, I want to use that planar mate constraint again. And I want to use the, bottom surface loaded with this surface. And I'm going to hit the green check mark, and it solves that particular constraint. Now it's in place, and it cannot move. Both of these are now fastened and assembled appropriately, just as they would be built in the lab.